Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Azim bin Safri. I am from Group 4. I will explain about how to set up a DNS server on the network on our packet tracer. Okay, first of all, I will explain about our network topology here. Okay, UTM or our academic building is our name for our network topology. Please implement a DNS server to resolve any device's network name to the device network IP address. We have implemented and set up a DNS server, which is, let me show you, this is our DNS server by using packet tracer. This DNS server in UTM academic building will be used to resolve any device's domain name into IP addresses. They have three different network uh, in UITM academic building, which is first is a building A network 192.168.1.0. And then we will go to the server farm network, which is 192.168.2.0. And last but not least is building B network 192.168.3.0. After that, UTM our academic building within a server will be implemented to resolve IP addresses of any devices within those three different networks. For example, um, lecturer wants to access data in the database server with IP addresses 192.168.2.8/24. When a lecturer send a database server a request through the network with the device name, it will be sent to the DNS server. Um, First for it to resolve, or we can say convert database server name into the IP address 192.168.2.8, and the DNS server will transfer the request through the internet. Okay, I will I will show how to set up a DNS server in the packet tracer. Okay, first of all is we build the network topology like this. Building A, building B, and our and we create and the server farm. Step 2, we configure the static IP addresses on the DNS server. First, we create a DNS server, and then we go to desktop and IP configuration of the DNS server. Okay, from here we can configure the IPv4 address, which is 192.168.2.4, and the subnet mask 255.255.255.0, and their default gateway 192.168.2.1, and the server IP DNS server for the all the rest of all the rest the devices 192.168.2.4. Okay, and then step 3, we configure the DNS service on the generate server. How to do this? First, we can click on the services tab. After that, we go to DNS server on the menu, and then we turn on the DNS service like this, turn on like this, and then we can define the names of the host and their corresponding IP addresses. Let me expand this. Okay, just like this. Okay, from here we can see we have implement their host name and their corresponding of IP addresses like laptop one, PCA, anti PCD. We have a printer, router one, router three, Samsung tablet, and their corresponding IP addresses. Okay, step 4, we want to test domain name and IP resolution. Ping the host from one another using using their names instead of IP addresses. That our target. Okay. If the net service is turned on and all the configuration are okay, then ping should be working fine. Okay. For example, I want to ping tablet from the laptop one. This is a tablet from the building B network, and we ping from the laptop one. which is in the building A network. Okay, we'll go to laptop one and we go to desktop and we click command prompt and we can type ping and then we just type their host name instead of their IP addresses. We want to ping tablet. First, we just type tablet. Okay, and then we can enter. Okay, let's just wait for a minute. This goes time up. This goes time up again, and it should be fine. Okay, it reply, and then we will do it again. Pin tablet, and okay, okay, done. All is successfully replied. Okay, from here, you can see that from the laptop one, we can ping to the tablet, and tablet we can ping from the laptop one, and it and tablet respond to the laptop one. Okay, let me show you another example. Okay, we want to ping Samsung from from the PCA. Okay, we will go to PCA and then we will go to desktop and command prompt and we can type ping Samsung and we can enter. Okay, as a usual, for a minute, reply, and then we will do it again. Ping Samsung. Okay, reply. Okay, all successfully replied. Uh, okay, okay. This is how we implement the DNS server, implement or set up the DNS server to make. So how we can ping the host name instead of IP addresses. Okay, that's all from me, and I will pass to the next presenter. Thank you.
I'm going to explain about network policies. Network policies are collections of requirements, restrictions, and configurations options that let administrators specify who is allowed to access the network and the conditions under which they may or cannot connect. The primary purpose of a network security policy is to inform users and staff of the requirements for protecting various assets. These assets take many forms, including passwords, documents, or even servers. These policies also lay guidelines for acquiring, configuring, and auditing computer systems and network. Network Policy and Access Services (NPAS) is used to provide secure remote access. NPAS is used to deploy radius, network access protection (NAP), and secure access points. For connection request authentication and authorizations, the Network Policy Service (NPS) is used to develop and enforce organization-wide network access policies. Configure NPS as a remote authentication dial-in user service radius proxy to forward connection requests to a remote NPS or other radius server so that it can load balance connection requests and forward them to the correct domain for authentication and authorization. NPS allows centrally configure and manage network access authentication, authorization, and accounting with the following features. First, Radius Server. Radius is a client-server protocol that enables the network access server (NAS) to communicate with a central server to the authentic dial-in users, authorize their access to the network, and keep track of their activities. NPS performs centralized authentication, authorization, and accounting (AAA) for wireless, authenticating switch, remote access dial-up, and virtual private network (VPN) connections. And the next one is Radius Proxy. NPS can be used as Radius Proxy when first, a service provider who offers outsourced dial-up, VPN or wireless network access services to multiple customers. And the next one is to provide authentication and authorization for user accounts that are not members of either the domain. And the next one is to process a large number of connection requests. And lastly, to provide radius authentication and authorization for outsourced service providers and minimize intranet firewall configuration.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Ali Zafran. And for this group project, I am responsible for doing the VPN. Before we create the VPN, if we try to ping PCA to PCC, it will not work. This is because this router right here, the ISP router, only know about 3 networks that are connected to itself. Let me demonstrate. We enter the show IP graph and it will show us the directly connected network that it has learned, which are this network, and the server farm. So before that, I would like to explain about VPN is used to create an encrypted connection between device and a network via the internet. It also helps in give out a secure transmission of sensitive data that is aided by the encrypted connection. Okay, for this group project, I have implemented the IPsec VPN tunneling between router 1 and router 3. After successfully configuring the VPN tunneling here, you can see that I be able to ping between this PC right here in different network to this PC which is across in another network. Let me demonstrate. You can see it says successfully, which means the ping is successful, the communication is successful. And to further verify the success of the entire configuration, I had to try to ping from another device to a different device. Let's take PCB, CD, which is also successful. And to further verify the IPsec VPN tunneling, I'm going to go here to router 1 to enter the command show crypto IPsec SA, which when we enter, we're going to see this. These 2 lines that I have highlighted shows that there are 9 encapsulated packets, encrypted packet are decapsulated, which means this packet has traveled through the VPN tunnel, which then indicate that our VPN tunnel is successful. Thank you and salam.
A web server is software and hardware that responds to client requests sent over the World Wide Web using the HTTP, Hypertext Transfer Protocol, and other protocols. A web server main responsibility is to show website content by storing, processing, and sending web pages to users. For UiTM around academic building, we have created a website where a web browser will use HTTP to request a file that is stored on a web server. The HTTP server will accept the request after the web server receives it and find the requested content and provide it to the browser through HTTP. A browser will go through a number of processes while requesting a document from a web server. So here I'm going to give example on how to use the web server. First we need to open the web browser and the client will first enter a URL in the address bar of a web browser. The web browser will then translate the URL through the DNS domain name system or by looking at its cache to find the IP address of the domain name. The client also can search uh, the browser using the IP address. For example, the browser will access a web server as a result. The appropriate file will then be requested by the browser via a HTTP and HTTP request to the web server. In response, the web server will transmit the browser the requested page through the HTTP once more. The web server will respond with an error message if the requested page does not exist or if something goes wrong. The browser will then not be able to display the web page. For example, as you can see, this is the error message if the requested page does not exist or if something goes wrong. Next is database servers. Database servers are used to store, manage, and provide authorized users access to databases that are kept on the server. The data is kept on this kind of server in a centralized location where frequent backups can be made. Additionally, it enables users and programs to access network-wide data from a single location. A database server may service a small office staff or a global network of individual users. Access for numerous users to the basic databases together with permissions to update, delete or retrieve information are essential components in both scenarios. For UiTM Arau Academic Building, we have created an email database to allow users to send and receive emails from each other. First, we need to type the account's email address completely. And this is the email address from which emails are sent. For example, an account from PCA may send an email from the address muazim@gmail.com. To send an email to the user, the sender needs to enter to whom the email wants to be sent and what the subject of the email is. After that, users can send whatever they want to be sent to the email recipient and press the send button. Email receiver can check, reply, or delete emails they receive. In addition, they can also see from whom the email was sent and when the email was received in more details. For example, this is an email that received by mysara@gmail.com and it came from Muazim and the subject is testing and received on Monday 4th July 2022. And that's all for database server. Next is authentication server. When a person or another server has to authenticate their identity to an application, an authentication server is used to check their credentials. Username or password combinations can be handled by authentication servers in one of two ways. First is single factor. Single factor SIMs simple for users, but it can be hard to remember all of our username or password combinations. Experts recommend using an electronic password manager to lighten the workload, but some users simply reuse the same data from website to website. A hacker with access to the right combination could log in on multiple sites. For single factor, after providing accurate information in both fields, authentication is finished. In this instance, the server only verifies the password as a factor. And the next one is multi-factor. Multi-factor authentication is more secure as people must jump through two hoops to enter. More than half of all enterprise companies use this method to secure their sites, and more embrace the technology each year. For multi-factor, using the right username and password is insufficient. For authentication to be complete, the website needs one more step. This could entail utilizing a UBK transmitting a temporary passcode to a connected device or using another techniques.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Azim bin Safri and I will explain part E, which is we want to create, read, update, delete by using FTP server in the packet tracer. First of all, I will show how to create a file. First, we will go to PCB and then we'll go to the command prompt and from here I want to make a PCB as a client and I want to connect PCB to the FTP server, which is we can do FTP, FTP and their corresponding addresses, which is 192.168.2.9. Okay, and we put their username, which is Cisco, and their password also the same, Cisco. And we are now in the FTP prompt. For the PCB has an FTP client which can be used to read, create, update, and delete the file present in the FTP server. Okay, first of all, okay, after that, we want to create a file in the PCB and we want to upload it to the server using FTP. First of all, okay, and then we close and we go to the test editor and file, new file, we we just write anything that we want. For example, I will write okay, this is our contact. Then we will go to file and save. And in the new file project, and for our case, I want to save project as project name. Okay, and then we click OK. Okay, and after that, we close this tab. And now we want to upload the file into the FTP server. We will go to the command prompt and here we type put and our file name, which is project.txt, and we can enter. Okay, once file upload is successful, we will go to the FTP server directory to verify if the file sent has been received. Now we will go to the FTP server and we will go to the FTP menu. We go to services and then to FTP menu. And from here, we can see that project.txt has been successfully sent from the PCB to the FTP server. And now I want to show how to read a file. First of all, just now create a file using PCB, and right now I want to read a file from the PCC. Create a PCC. I will go to the desktop and command prompt, and we access the client from PCC to the FTP server. FTP 192.168.2.9. Enter and enter the username, which is Cisco, and they also the password Cisco. Okay, if you want to read the file, we can put get and file name that we want to access. For example, project.txt. Okay, and now we have transfer complete, and then we will close this tab and we will go to the text editor to check and read the file that has been downloaded get from the FTP server, and we click and click a file and we click open. Okay, as we can see, they have a file name project.txt that had been we get from the FTP server into a PCC directory. Okay, and then we click OK so that we can read the content of file that we have been downloaded. Next, I will show how to delete a file from the server. Okay, to delete the file in the FTP server directory, we can just type delete file.txt. Okay, for example, we want to delete a file project.txt from the FTP server. Okay, we will go to the PCC client and then we will type delete project.txt and then we go and enter and deleted file project.txt successfully. And to make sure the file has been completely deleted, we can type command dir in the PCC. Okay, let me expand this. Okay, as we can see, there has no project.txt in the server in the FTP server directory. And also, we can just go to FTP server and then we will go to the FTP in the services and FTP, and then from here we can see that project.txt has been successfully deleted. Okay. Okay. Next, I will show how to update the file. If you want to update the file, we will go to the text editor. And right now, I will go to the laptop one. Then we will go to the text editor, and then we click a file, open file, and I will show the f4.txt, and we will click OK. And then we can update a file content which is this is a contact from my friend, and I want to update the file, and then we add um, this is our group project for ITT665, and after finish it, and then we go to file and save. Okay, after that we will go to the command prompt. Okay, and then we put the file name put pardon me put and file name which is s4.txt on the command prompt so that the server can receive a new updated file from the client. And we'll go and we'll enter. Okay, transfer complete. And from here we can see that we have been completely transferred a new updated version of f4.txt into the FTP server. Okay, next to check whether to check next to check whether the f4.txt file has been updated, we will go to any client devices such as Samsung, and we'll choose Samsung. Then we will go to the command prompt. Then we type get f4 .txt. There we go. Pardon me. Okay, first of all, we must create a connection between Samsung client to the SP server, FTP 192.168.2.9, and then we put the username, which is Cisco, and also password. Go and then okay. And right now we are the FTP prompt, and we'll go to get f4 dot txt. f4 dot txt. Okay. Okay, and we transfer completely, and we have been downloaded completely. And lastly, we'll go to the text editor in the Samsung uh, here, and click open file, and then we see the f4.txt, and click open, click OK. As we can see, this is our new updated version of file f4.txt. I think that's all from me on how to create, read, update, and delete by using FTP server. And I will pass to the next presenter. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am Nur Kamila binti Muhammad Kamal. My matric number is 202049638. My part is to show about how to install Wireshark and how to use it, and using a simulation from Wireshark. But unfortunately, our project will only use from PT. To monitor network traffic, we are using simulation panel in the packet tracer that are being already installed. Okay. For the first part, I will show from ping from packet from PCA to PCC. We try to use packet. Okay. It's successful. It showed it here. Okay. Alright. Try to delete. Open for simulation. Here the simulation panel on here. Okay. We try to send. You want to see the packet is successful or not by using simulation. Okay. I try again from PCA to PCC, and then I will run it. Here it show the packet will go from this from PCA. We go to switch 1, then to the router 1 and SP in here, where yeah, you see it shown how the packet going through. In progress. It show in the status the packet in progress. Okay. It go one by one. Alright. On here the packet is successful. Okay. It show that for the type SCMP that you already know, it's for go for pink on here. Okay, first it show everything that the packet going through from PCA to PCC, and it show the status is successful. That's all from me.